Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about our top 5 baits to throw in the pre-spawn. We're talking big fish, we're talking great fishing, we're talking about going out and smacking them. So, top 5 pre-spawn bass fishing lures. Let's get into it. Number 1, this bait has hit the market and I haven't got to fish a pre-spawn with it, but I can tell you right now, it's going to light them up. I've always thrown the Magdraft pre-spawn and I've always hammered fish moving in. This year, I'm going to be throwing the Bass Mafia Daingerous Swimbait, and I love the Texas rigged version of this swimbait, the weedless Daingerous Swimbait. Now, let me tell you why that is. I fish northern grass lakes a lot. A lot of guys throw chatterbaits. A lot of guys throw spinnerbaits. This swimbait is a spinnerbait. You can throw it everywhere that you would throw a spinnerbait. It's good from 15 feet of water up to under docks and inches of water. And this is going to simply generate big bites. The 6-inch version of this is what I'm throwing 9 out of 10 times. I have replaced the spinnerbait in my arsenal with the big swimbait because it's going to get the 2-pound and 3-pound bites that you're going to get a spinnerbait, but it's also going to generate way more 4, 5, and 6-pound bites than that spinnerbait would. This swimbait comes through everything. It comes through grass, it comes through cover, it comes through timber, and it can be skipped under docks. I get a great dock bite as soon as the ice comes off up here in northern Indiana. Other guys might. I call it my sucker shot. There's 2 baits that I fish around docks. There's videos about me doing it. I've been really quiet about the big swim bait, but this year expect a lot of content on that big swim bait. Now, here is a number 8 owner belly weighted swim bait hook, right? And you can throw the Beast, you can throw that. I like the number 8 on this size because I like to make sure that that hook is buried in that swim bait as I'm swimming it. If you check out the underwater footage on this bait, it's got a great head shake, a great body roll with this size hook on it. It does a fantastic job. As you can see, this swim bait's got chewed up too. I'm going to catch them on this one this spring. Bait number 2 that I love to throw, right? The chatterbait, specifically the evergreen Jackhammer, right? The Jackhammer is the gold standard. I love to throw it with a grub on it in the spring or a creature bait of your choice. I don't know what else I can say about the chatterbait that hasn't already been said. This bait generates bites in cold water. It generates bites for pressured fish. It generates bite in grass lakes, all of which I am fishing, right? Sometimes in those off-color water, I fish a lot of channels, a lot of man-made channels and cuts where the water gets warmer earlier, but the watercolor is off. I love that Bee Height Delight color with that chartreuse in the skirt. You can see on this one, that blade has been chewed up. This bait has been chewed up. Now, interestingly enough, I got a new bait to try this year when I was getting a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to throw the big blade a lot this year. I'm looking for bigger bites. I'm looking for bigger fish. I'm looking to tangle with bigger fish. So I'm going to start throwing the big blade. And I have a lot of work to do on this. We're going to do some underwater exclusive footage on this big blade. We're going to do a whole comparison about chatterbaits here coming up in the next couple weeks because the chatterbait bite it's about to get off the rails, guys. So the big blade, especially with this orange one on the front, I'm really excited to throw this early when the water is stained and the big fish are in shallow, right? I'm really excited to throw that. So chatterbait is number 2, right? Number 3, and this is the last moving bait that I'm going to throw early pre-spawn, is the Rapola OG Slim 6, right? I cannot say enough about this bait. It has changed the way that I fish crankbaits in northern grass lakes. It has also changed the way that I approach crankbait fishing and system crankbait fishing. Check out those videos. I'm going to link them in there. But system crankbait fishing and fishing these flat-sided crankbaits early in the year when the water's cold will absolutely put fish in the boat. Now, it's all about subtle action. On a flat-sided crankbait, you get a ton of subtle action where you get that nice tight shimmy. I also like it because it doesn't have rattles. I fish a lot of water that other guys have passed over, right? The rattle crankbait has a time and a place, but I find that the silent rattle of the OG Slim is going to put more fish in the boat. Also, this time of year, early ice out before the water gets in the 50s, I like a white pale shad looking color right here. And this one is a perfect example, right, of what that color is that I'm looking for. And it is a great pale color because most fish in the early spring are going to be pale in color, right? So there's 3 moving baits right there. Big swim bait, chatterbait, crankbait. Let's flip gears. The next thing that I love to do is I love to fish jigs on any hard cover that I can find, and I love it to fish it on bottom structure that is hard. So in the south, you would think shell beds, mussel beds, areas like that. In the north, you want to think about reefs and bars and edges. I like bottom contact that is hard, and I love throwing football jigs. So I got a couple new football jigs. I got the Ketchco Diesel football jig right here because it's a good example of the size that I want to throw. I want to throw a downsized football jig where most guys are throwing the Ned rig. Once again, I love to be different. I am throwing the downsized Diesel football head jig on any hard structure or cover that I can find. And that trailer that I'm throwing it on, the Z-Man Ned Craw Z. Now, I like to mix and match my trailer colors. I like a little bit of blue in it because the sunfish up here have blue in it. So I got a blue-brown right there with a green pumpkin craw. And that color combination right there is deadly. And let me tell you this, where the Ned rig gets bites, the jig will also get bites, but the jig will consistently get a bigger bite than the Ned rig. It's just happened the last couple years. I've seen it in my own stuff. The jig will get a better bite than the Ned rig, and it will still get the same bites in the same areas, right? So jig fishing, flipping jigs, half ounce, stuff like that, there's a time and place for it. I want to throw lighter jigs. I want to drag them slowly across the bottom on hard bottom areas. I want to let the Z-Man, the Elastec, do its job and find those fish and get those bites. And then my last one, and we're talking early pre-spawn before we get into really shallow fish, really bottom-oriented fish that are really locked into beds or specific patterns. I am throwing that dark sleeper gill from Megabass. I cannot say enough about the dark sleeper. The sleeper gill is a bigger size, and I experimented a little bit in the fall with this bait. Sam will testify that this bait will absolutely catch them, but once again, I'm going to spend the spring looking for bigger bites. If I'm not catching them, it's because I'm not around them in the spring. You got to cover water, but I am specifically looking for bigger bites because bigger fish are in earlier, right? So you want to throw bigger baits, bigger than average baits, because you just spent all winter throwing the tiny bait, right? So here's the difference. In the wintertime, I'm throwing that swim bait. In the spring, I'm throwing that swim bait, or even bigger, right? To give you kind of a reference. In the wintertime, I'm throwing this tube, right? In the spring, I'm throwing that sleeper gill, which is almost the same size, but different and slightly bigger, right? That's what we want to focus on. Think of regular chatterbait versus big blade. In the pre-spawn, you can upsize a lure and do a lot of damage, right? Now, I want to tell you guys about an exciting opportunity that has come our way. Bass Insights has partnered with Omnia Fishing, right? And Omnia Fishing is an app and a website that will do a whole lot of stuff for you. But the cool thing about Omnia is its mapping features, right? So we're going to go to a screen share here. I'm going to show you on Omnia the things that I love about it. Number one, when you're picking lakes to fish, Omnia, the pro version, we're going to link this down in our bio. We're going to give you the codes to get this stuff, guys. But Omnia Fishing has this cool feature about lake water temperature. right? And looking at this map right now, I can already tell you that different lakes are warmer than others. And in the early spring, the warmer the water, the earlier, the better the bite is going to be, right? And the cool thing about this is I can narrow down where I want to be. I want to be out of cold water. Fish are going to run to those warmer areas, and I can already see spots on my home lake that I haven't considered to be the warmest spots on the lake, but they are. And that's going to matter a ton, right? Because as much as pre-spawn fishing is about lure selection, it's also about location, right? So Omnia Fishing is going to give me that water temperature, but if you look in their other pro level stuff, and we got the pro level stuff here, guys, because this stuff is going to make a huge difference in your fishing game. If you select bottom hardness, it's going to give you the hardness of the lake. And what you will notice, friends, is there's a lot of hard spots out there in lakes that you fish all the time that you didn't know about, right? And what it allows you to do is kind of fish these hidden areas and those hard spots that bass are going to be on. If you can find a secluded hard spot in the right depth of water, example right here, look at that. There is a hard spot on a bank surrounded by soft area. I can tell you the fish are going to be in that spot right there in the early pre-spawn. They're going to use it as a transition zone. They're going to use it because, one, the water is going to be warmer, and two, they're going to be belly on the bottom, finding that harder structure to move back into their spawning areas, guys. Omnia Fishing, awesome, awesome, awesome tool to use. And it's cheaper than a new fish finder. It's an awesome tool for you guys out there in kayaks, canoes, walking bank. This gives you the ability to look and find areas where you know you can really do a lot of damage, right? And it's a great cost for an awesome tool, right? So we're going to link all of our stuff in Omnia. If you guys want to go there, use our promo codes, use our links to buy things. That helps support the channel. That helps grow the channel. Also, think about joining our deep dive club on YouTube. Get access to videos early, get access to supers and chats, and ask us questions. Let us help you break down lakes. Let us explain lures to you. We're going to start putting stuff in the community all the time, guys. The channel is growing, and we are excited about the direction it's going. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for the spring. So go to Omnia Fishing, buy a subscription there. If not, look at Omnia Fishing, buy some gear off of our links. All of this stuff will be linked there. All stuff that we believe in, guys. We don't support products that we don't believe in, right? We're not just taking money from anybody. Matter of fact, we're not taking money from anybody at all right now. We are 100% dedicated to finding the best tools that can help you guys out as anglers, but also keep your budget in mind, right? Way too much expensive stuff out there in the world right now. Fishing is awesome because it's pure, right? Keep it pure, keep it real, help support the channel, guys. We'll see you out there next time.